You're watching Your Disability Lawyers with David Share and Samantha Share. Contact Share Lawyers today for a free consultation. There are no fees unless you win your case.
Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about how to choose the right disability lawyer for you. When you've been doing disability law as long as we have, I think we have a lot of important and relevant information regarding this topic. And so we'll be talking about some of the key points that you should be looking for when you're looking to hire a disability lawyer.
We understand that when you're in this situation, your benefits have been denied, no money's coming in, you're not sure where to turn to, whether you should appeal, whether you should hire a lawyer to pursue a lawsuit. When you have those conversations and those questions, it's important to pick the right lawyer to speak to about those things so you can make an informed decision that you're comfortable with.
The first thing that comes to mind when you're considering a disability law firm is how many years of experience does this firm have in handling disability cases, and looking specifically at the lawyers working at the firm and their experience, as well as the firm as a whole, I would say.
The years of experience are really important. And of course, different lawyers in that firm may have different levels of experience, but when you work as a team, you have the benefit of all the years of experience of all those lawyers who collaborate, discuss the cases, get points that they dealt with on other cases, so that even the younger lawyers have the benefit of all those years of experience working for you on your case. We know all the tricks and all of the ups and downs of these cases and the inner workings, and that you've got to put that type of experience to work for you. The insurance companies have a lot of experience on their side of the table, and if you want a level and equal playing field, you need to get lawyers that have a similar amount of experience.
The second thing that you want to look for is a firm or lawyers that specialize in disability law. There's lots of firms out there that dabble in disability law, so they do a little bit of it and they do a lot of other things. And not to say that those firms are bad, but I would say you want a lawyer and a firm that is specialized in disability law so that we know so that the firm knows exactly what they're dealing with when handling your case, who the players are on the other side, what types of arguments they might be making, the nuances of a disability case, which is very different than other types of personal injury cases, such as a car accident or a slip and fall. Those are tort cases, and disability law is a contract type of case, which is quite different.
We were both in a mediation on a case earlier this week, as it so happens, and at the end of the mediation, it was the mediator, who I've known for many years, said to us, it's such a pleasure working with you and opposing counsel here today in your case, because you have such a wealth of experience between all the people that were here today. A day doesn't go by that I have a law firm coming in that they have no idea about the nuance of disability law. And, it's important to cut through all of the irrelevant parts of the case and cut to the chase of what the case is really about. And experience helps get you to that point. And the other point that's really important is when you're dealing with the insurance company and you have the credibility of that experience working for you, they know that your lawyer knows what they're doing on this case. They have to treat that case a little differently than if they're dealing with someone who really doesn't understand the inner workings of how these claims are dealt with.
And I think the insurance companies respect that, because they know that a law firm that specializes in disability law is less likely to take on a case that's going to be a waste of everyone's time, and a firm that knows everything about disability law is going to be asking the right questions from the outset, as to whether it's even worth pursuing that case, because clients genuinely do want to know, should I be investing my time and aggravation in pursuing this or not? And some firms who may not be as specialized or have as much knowledge might be saying, yeah, I'll take your case. and maybe that wasn't really the right decision for that person.
Well, with all the years of experience that we and lawyers in our firm have, we're well known in the industry. I often say to clients when I'm doing a new call, that they don't like us, but they respect us. And respect is way more important than likability, although likability is not unimportant, but respect is key. And if they know that they're dealing with a firm that has knowledge, with lawyers that have a lot of knowledge in this area, they take the case more seriously, and they know that we back up our cases with the right development of the medical information, and all the factors that go into the case. And you can't replicate that other than by doing the work and being there throughout the years. And the industry knows we're here today, we're here tomorrow, we're around to help you with your case.
I would say experience working with the same insurance companies day in and day out. We do build relationships, as what David was talking about. The insurance companies respect us, and that's because we're often dealing with the same players. And not to say we're best buddies with the lawyers from the insurance company, certainly not. But they do have that level of respect. And because the LTD world is quite small and we're often having to deal with the same insurance companies and the same lawyers, it's important to maintain that professionalism and respect, because otherwise there's going to be no leverage in terms of trying to get cases settled.
We want to stress that respect in the insurance industry is very important for you and your lawyer to have the credibility in dealing with the insurance company and their representatives in these cases. They know they have to take the case seriously. We've taken it on and are prepared to go forward with it. They have to take it seriously, and we've got the track record to show that is a fact in the insurance industry.
Another thing you want to look for is a lawyer that has a lot of positive reviews or testimonials. These days, in the online world that we live in, most people will write a review if they've had a really good or a really bad experience with a company. So I think that testimonials have a lot of weight, and as a prospective client, you should be reading them because you'll learn a lot about the company and how they treat their clients, and the positive outcome, hopefully, that person had.
It's important to look at the overall numbers and what the overall experience is. And can't please all the people all of the time, but there's an indicator there when you look at the reviews that people are asked to give us feedback, and we get a lot of feedback, and the results show when you look at the reviews that we have up there online.
So another thing to consider is how you feel when you make that first phone call to the law firm, and how does the individual that you're speaking to, whether they're on the intake team or whether they're the receptionist or a lawyer, and how they make you feel. Do they make you feel valued? Are they listening to you? Because most clients are at a very difficult point in their life. It might be difficult for you to talk about your situation, and you want the person on the other end of the phone to make you feel like you're worthy, and to be listening, and I think that's a really good first indicator of what type of relationship you would have with that firm, because every person who works for the law firm should be having the same sort of message and the same focus on, client service, or focusing on clients. And if you feel good about it, then that's probably a good sign that might be a good firm for you in terms of a fit.
Well, I agree with what you're saying, Samantha, and I guess we talked earlier about testimonials, and I think often when you read reviews, clients may comment on the type of experience they have. So take a close look at the day-to-day interaction or experience that people are having with the lawyer that you're thinking of going with. It's important not to feel like a number. It's important to feel like when you're speaking to the law firm that's representing you, that they take the time to check on the specifics of your case And even though that can be challenging at times, that's an important factor. You don't want to feel like a number. You don't want to feel like you're phoning one of the cable company and they say, you know, we'll give you a visiting window of next week between 8 a.m. on Monday and 2 in the morning on Friday. You want to feel like they're going to be responsive, and that's an important thing to look for in a law firm.
So another thing to consider is how is the law firm, and that includes the lawyers or any other people working at the firm, communicating with you, and do they know how to communicate with normal, regular people? Law firms can be quite intimidating because most people think of lawyers that they speak in all these big words that nobody understands, and you want a law firm that's going to be explaining it to you so that you can understand it and feel confident that you know exactly what's happening and you have the right answers to whatever questions you have. You want to have that rapport with the people at the firm and feel like your best interests are being represented and that you're heard.
I think it's important, as Samantha said, that the law firm tries to speak in your terms, so that that they make sure that you understand. Sometimes legalese or legal language is unavoidable, but it's an important part of a lawyer's job and the support staff's job to make sure that the clients feel comfortable with what's happening. And if there's a lack of understanding or something that's unclear, it's important to pause and make sure that the clients are comfortable with the information that's being given. And so you should never feel shy about reaching out or asking questions about any part of your case, even if you feel like you've asked it before. There's no shame in asking it again to make sure you're comfortable, because this is an important event in your life. And once it's done and it's settled and it's finished, you're not going to be able to come back and say, "Gee, I didn't understand that." So you make sure that the lawyers are prepared to have those discussions with you and not make you feel silly or stupid or anything of that nature if you have something that you need to ask questions about.
So with all this talk about good communication, we want to introduce you to one of our client service lawyers to talk a little bit more about how Share Lawyers really makes a strong effort to have open communication with our clients and really support our clients. Every client will be assigned one of our client service lawyers, and Janice is going to talk to you now. She's one of our client service lawyers.
A claim against an insurance company should never increase the stress that a client has. We don't want to exacerbate a client's already precarious or difficult situations. We want to make sure that our clients feel like, as their lawyers, their stress level is actually coming down, that we are helping them diminish the symptoms that they're having. And that's what we serve to do here at Share Lawyers. And we have a number of things in place that really help us through this process, help you through this process. For one thing, Share Lawyers is set up in such a way that we are entirely client-focused. Our firm is premised on providing exceptional client services. And probably the most significant illustration of this is the fact that we have a client services lawyer, such as myself, who will be able to help you through the process of your lawsuit from start to finish. So a client services lawyer is going to be your point person as you move forward with the lawsuit. That's the person who you will turn to if you have absolutely any questions along the way. This is the person who you will ask for updates about your case as your case moves forward. Or if you don't understand something, or if you're stressed about something coming up in your case, your client services lawyer is the person you will reach out to. Your client services lawyer is also there to provide you with assistance by taking updates from you. So if you have a change in circumstances, a new diagnosis, a new doctor, a change in your medication, for example, we are there to take all of these updates from you and discuss the impact that they may or may not have on your case. Even if you're contemplating a return to work, that's something we want to talk to you about. Your client services lawyer will always be there to answer your questions, to provide you with these updates, and to take on your updates. Importantly, your client services lawyer is also there to help you through other issues that you may be dealing with. So for example, if you have a financial crisis because your insurance company has denied your legitimate long-term disability claim and you don't have the means to support yourself or your family, then by all means speak to your client services lawyer. She is available to help you through the process, and she may well have access to resources or information that you don't know about that you might be able to access to help you financially as your case proceeds. Your client services lawyer is not the main litigator who will be helping you to resolve your case at the end of the litigation. We will work closely with that litigation lawyer as your case proceeds. Rather, your client services lawyer is someone who will support you and work closely with the litigation team as your case moves along towards a successful resolution. As a client of our firm, we will give you exclusive access to something called our Life Rebuilder Hub. Our Life Rebuilder Hub is something that our firm created with a specific benefit of helping our clients. We wanted to centralize the resources and contacts and information that we have for clients who may be having difficulties with other issues as the lawsuit continues. It's really important to us that we treat the client holistically. We realize that these clients, like yourself, have much more going on in your lives than just this lawsuit. Our Client Rebuilder Hub may well give you access to information and resources that will help you through some of these other problems you're dealing with. As a client of our firm, you would also have access to something called Maple. Maple is a virtual medical care platform that we give all of our clients and their immediate family members access to. If you are having difficulty accessing your own primary care physician, for example, you could contact Maple and obtain timely and trusted and confidential medical care. For example, if you need a referral, if you need a prescription renewal, Maple may be an easy way to access that information without you having to wait in a waiting room full of people during your hardest times.
You've been watching Your Disability Lawyers with David Share and Samantha Share. Contact Share Lawyers today for a free consultation and put our 35 years of experience to work for you. There are no fees unless you win your case.